Okay everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another video. We're back with our first ever video on Le Mans Ultimate that we've been playing for quite a few months now, but we're finally getting around to getting some videos sorted, and hopefully this will carry on now into the future with Gran Turismo 7 and Le Mans Ultimate content, whether it's a stream or a video. So if you do enjoy this video, get subscribed to the Key 25 on YouTube if you're interested in any of them games. Helps me out if you give this video a thumbs up, get subscribed. And yeah, this was an absolute belting combination and a race. This was at Monza, fixed GT3, so on Le Mans Ultimate you also have the fixed setup races. This was that race that we're in, and it's GT3s only, no multi-class in this one. 21 GT3s I think in this race at Monza, rolling start, and yeah, it's just a flat out sprint race. This is a Le Mans Ultimate version of their shorter combination. So let's get into this and let's get into some absolutely brilliant racing. So we join the action here now. I'm in P10 after a pretty poor qualifying. We had been previously driving in the Aston Martin and we had just jumped back into the BMW and didn't really hook up a lap, but we know that in race pace the BMW is much more suited for me, so it was going to take a couple laps to get used to it. But let's get this race underway. Obviously on LMU it's a manual rolling start, unlike Gran Turismo where it's predetermined with the auto drive. This is all done manually and it does make for some intense battles, and obviously going into turn 1 at Monza is very often a nervous moment, but on LMU very often you can get through here cleanly. Not all the time, there is often a lot of chaos, but you can see here 3 wide in some situations here, but pretty much everyone there. Looking at the radar, which I have to say the radar is placed absolutely perfectly on the Monza Ultimate, right in your field of view. It doesn't obstruct it, it's just absolutely perfect how they've implemented it. But you can see there a lot of 3 wides and everyone got through turn 1 without any incident, which is absolutely brilliant to see. But you can see we managed to gain 1 position there from the start, started in P10, got ourselves up to P9. We can see a car going around, trying to go around the outside of the chicane, not going to work. And then in front of us we have a Lexus there spinning and into the wall there, obviously some sort of on power issue there, and that's 1 extra position. So up to P8 already on lap 1. Some very close racing going on. You can see there on the replay camera in the bottom left hand corner. I have to put it down there because if I put it on the top right you wouldn't be able to see what lap we were on, so I wanted to make sure that you could see that while we were doing this video. So far on this lap we've gained 2 positions, taking it quite safely. We haven't gone for anything risky, and that is one thing I always advise on this game, is to play it quite safe on lap 1. Very often you're going to make up a few positions just by keeping it on the track and trying to avoid picking up damage. Now yellow damage doesn't give you the most performance loss, depending on how aggressive that yellow damage is. It's quite hard to tell. You can see at the moment we don't have any damage on our BMW from lap 1, which is always a big bonus at Monza. But you can see going into the final corner here, trying to take a nice tight line and getting on that throttle as early as we can. It can get a little bit loose on the throttle there as you power out the exit, but you can see now in the BMW picking up the slipstream. Now one thing I do absolutely love about Le Mans Ultimate is the slipstream strength. It's not overpowered, but once you get within 2-3 temps it really does pull you up alongside, and it does give you the opportunities. But you can see here I'm just having a look down the inside. I'm not going to go for a move there. It's all about just making the car in front aware that you're there, and just maybe, you never know, he might outbrake himself, make a little mistake, and you see we all get through there nice and smoothly. And now we're going to work our way up into the second chicane. You can see there we've got a group of cars ahead. The leader is getting away from it at the moment. He's out of the front on his own and he's starting to pull away. But again, the replay cameras on the Monza Ultimate do look absolutely amazing as we go for a move up the inside here, late on the brakes, use the curb, give space to the other BMW, and that is a lovely overtake around the outside there and up into P7. So that's 3 positions gained so far in this race, and now we've got a little bit of a gap. You can see we've got a little bit of time to make up to the next group. There was a bit of a gap developing. That's why I wanted to get the move done, to see if we can then hunt after P6 in this race. And that's exactly what we did do. You can see as we approach lap 5 here, we're starting to catch up, and then into turn 1 with everyone really close. We've got 2 Aston Martins fighting out in front. They've managed to hold each other up, which has then brought them a little bit closer to me, and you can see this battle is really heating up now. So this is actually turning into an absolutely brilliant race for the podium here. From P10 on the grid, we're actually looking at a potential podium position in this Monza fixed GT3 race. And again, you can see going into the second chicane there, also again going side by side. So we're going to try and make sure we get a good exit off the corner and see if we can get a run. Very often if they go side by side, you can get a run then into the first Lesmo, but this time they both get pretty good exit speeds. But we are right behind now and just sitting there waiting for an opportunity. You can see using all the track and then into the second Lesmo, always concentrating on trying to get on that power nice and early to carry that speed all the way down the main straight into the Ascari chicane. But you can see we got 3 or 4 cars up ahead of us, very closely packed, and this is going to get really, really interesting now. So going into the Ascari, you can see I'm just having a little look down the left just to see what's going on, just to see if I can see any side-by-sides. And you can see there is 2 cars side by side up there, so we're just going to really concentrate on the exit speed now. We know that there might be a bit of battling on the exit, and that is exactly what has happened here. Just look at this now, they're 3 wide. We're going to go over to the left now. We see a little opportunity on the left here, going to go half on the grass, half on the tarmac, and we actually make that a lovely move up into P6. And can we hold it though? That's the thing. So as we come round the final corner, you can see the Lexus going a little bit wide there. That's going to upset him a bit. The Aston Martin gets back down the inside. Sorry, the BMW gets back down the inside, which drops us back to P7. However, we're going to get back up to P6 while overtaking that Lexus. So a little bit of chaos there, but absolutely brilliant that we all got through that. And that is absolutely brilliant to see. As you can see just up ahead there, a little bit of defensive driving. We're going to back out early and just be a little bit cautious here. They're side by side and some real chaotic stuff going on here. This is absolutely brilliant to watch, I have to say. After taking part in it, watching it back, it's super exciting, and this is why I love Le Mans Ultimate. I've heard some people comment in previous stuff saying, oh, the Le Mans Ultimate races are boring. I think you've been missing some of these races because this is super exciting. So you can see now as we come into the end of lap 6, we're getting very, very close again, and we're going to try and pick up that slipstream, trying to get on the throttle as early as we can off that final corner, because that will enable us to get that slipstream. So you can see we're picking up the slipstream. Now you can see the BMW in front has got a nice slipstream off the car in front of him also, and we are gaining. But are we going to be in a position to go for a move down the inside into the first chicane? You can see I'm just going to have a little look, but he's gone defensive, so we're just going to lift off here. You can see have a little look on the inside, but brake early, just let him know we're there. Now the Lexus behind us here goes for a little bit of a move up the inside and actually nudges me wide, and I was a little bit annoyed at that because I felt like it was kind of a push to overtake. I don't think it was anything malicious, just felt it was a little bit annoying that he did that because we gave him space, but he still managed to tap us wide, and that then knocked us all the way back down to P8 here, because you can see there we got the BMW on our left. However, we did manage to brake late and hold on to that P7 and stay behind the Lexus, so a little bit frustrated at that. And we can see why on the replay of the radar why. So you can see he had the space there. We actually moved to the right to give him the space. He actually turned across and tapped us on the side, and that was enough just to knock me off the track. However, going into the first Lesmo, a little bit of karma, some would say, but yeah, you can't help. I couldn't help but just have a little bit of a grin on my face after the little tap wide and see that happening. Sometimes in sim racing, things happen for a reason, and although I don't think he was being dirty there, I did kind of bring a smile to my face when I seen him losing control. Now we're going to jump back onto the action on lap 9, and we got the 2 Aston Martins. I think actually is it an Aston Martin and a BMW there, fighting it out for P5 and P4. You can see that he's going to have to give that position back. So what you're going to see now is the car on the left overtook off the track. Now on Le Mans Ultimate, if you do that, the game will force you to give it back. If you don't, you get a severe penalty. So he gives that position back. However, as we come into the second chicane here, you can see the BMW gets a really good run off the chicane, and he's actually going to be able to go for that move back on the inside before the first Lesmo. And then I'm going to try and see if I can take an opportunistic move here. You can see get a good exit right up behind the Aston Martin. Going to go to the right hand side, but you can see it would be too risky, I felt, to go for a move there. So I decided to back off and just hold on to this P6. At the moment, we've gone from P10 to P6, back to P8, then to P7, and now we're back in P6. So we're just going to stay here and just play it quite sensible and just wait maybe for something to happen or a better opportunity. So into the Ascari chicane, always using a lot of the curb through here, up onto the curb on the right. Just be cautious it doesn't snap on the last part of the corner as you go wide there. And now we're going to pick up that slipstream into the final corner. You can see also we've got the BMW still right behind us. This has been an absolutely incredible race on LMU from start to finish, and this is very much often the case in a lot of races. Sometimes people join you when you're doing a multi-class race after like 35 minutes of racing and they've missed a lot of the action, and they get the impression that, you know, maybe not as exciting. But for me, this kind of racing is so exciting. You're not just getting dragged along the slipstream. You're having to work for the overtake. You can see we're in the slipstream to the Aston Martin now, and that is a very fast car. He's going to have to go defensive. We're going to try and go down the left-hand side. Can we brake late? We managed to brake really late and hold a good line through the corner and actually do a really nice overtake there up into P5. So almost perfect overtake on lap 10. There's only 2 laps to go. Can we hold on for this position? Now you're going to see the Aston Martin is incredibly quick on the straight. So as we go to the left hand side, you can see the pull on that Vantage. We've got the inside though, and we can brake very, very late on this inside. Use a little bit of gear shifting to rotate it, and again we've managed to hold on to that P5. Now this is going to be a case of try to hold on to the very end, because we know just how quick the Vantage is when it gets in that slipstream. Now you can see the car ahead has got a little bit of a buffer. He's got that gap up to 1.1 seconds, 1 second. So we're not really in the slipstream to him. So it is going to be very much a case of defending now and not really worrying about chasing after P4 or P3. It's going to be a defensive race to the finish now. And again, you can see as we come to the Ascari chicane, we're going to possibly have to be cautious, but no, he's not going to do anything silly here. This corner really is a corner that you can only go for a move if you're at least pretty much halfway alongside the car in front. You don't want to just be sticking your nose up into the inside on a 4th gear corner, because very often it will end in absolute disaster. So let's see what happens now as we come into the final corner. He has a little look up the inside, and again, I was pretty confident that he wouldn't do anything silly, and I kind of got that feeling that he was just having a little look, but then he had a little moment on the rear there. You can see very often on that corner the rear can just snap a little bit, and that just loses in the traction there, that we then are able to just build up a little bit of a cushion as we're working our way down the straight here. I think this is actually going to be the last lap of the race, because it actually goes 11 laps, not 12 laps, unless you had someone insanely quick. But even then, I don't think it was possible to do 12 laps. Maybe with someone really, really quick. But yeah, this was going to go 11 laps. So we just got to try and hold on now for this final lap into the chicanes. We managed to get a good exit there, so we're holding on okay. You can see the BMW is quite close to the Vantage. I could have done with that BMW being a little bit closer so that I wouldn't have to go as defensive. As you can see here now, going to the left, because I know that Vantage is going to think about it. We hold the inside line, just rotate the car with 1st gear, then up to 2nd gear, use the curbs. Now he gets quite a good exit, but again, we get a reasonable exit considering the line we took, and we're able to hold on to that position for the first Lesmo. And now the BMW is quite close behind him, and he's ran a little bit wide in the mirror there. So now we're going to see if we can get a good exit off the 2nd Lesmo and power our way up into the Ascari chicane. You can see there he runs a little bit wide, and that's actually given me a nice little buffer. And you can actually see on the replay camera in the bottom left that the BMW is right up behind him also now. So looking at the gap behind, I felt like he won't go for that, so I thought I'm just going to stick to the right, take a normal line in, and you can see he actually goes a little bit deep there. Now it's just a case of getting a good exit off the Ascari chicane, and we've managed to do that, and we should be in the position to hold on to that P5. So from P10 to P5 in the BMW, it made for some real entertainment. Now we did go again after this and managed to get the BMW qualified in P2 and finished in P2, but that race was not quite as exciting as this one. This was one of the more exciting races. So I really hope you enjoyed this battle to the end at Monza, and I hope if you haven't been watching the LMU, this might make you think, well, maybe I'll give some LMU a go and give it a watch. And if you did enjoy this video, get subscribed to the channel, hit that like button, let me know in the comments how your racing has been going on LMU as well. Take care, everyone.